The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveller, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for the passing there, had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. Okay, this poem is by Robert Frost. I think it was published in 1916, so the First World War is still raging. I think the theme of this poem is about choices. Yeah, life is full of choices, and you choose to do one thing, but that means you can't do another. And I think the other theme of this poem is conformism versus non-conformism. This is talking about whether you do what everyone else does because everyone else does it, or because you choose to do the thing that you want to do, even if no one else is interested in it. So be yourself. So, two roads diverged in a yellow wood. So we've got this person who's taking a walk in the woods, or walking through the woods, and a yellow wood. I think this word yellow here indicates that it's autumn and the leaves are falling. So he comes to a fork in the road. And sorry I could not travel both and be one traveller. So I wanted to take both of the roads, yeah? I wanted to try both of them, but I'm only one person, and you can only choose A or B, yeah? You can't choose both. You can't have your cake and eat it. So, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveller. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. So I stood there for a long time wondering, which one am I going to take? Which one am I going to take? And I looked down one of them, and I could see as far as a spot where it turned in the undergrowth, the low-growing bushes and plants. Yeah, but I couldn't see any further. So he's trying to think about where this one goes. And this is talking about choices in life. Yeah? He comes to a fork in the road. Well, you have to make a decision in your life, and you think about the logical conclusions of those decisions as far as you can, but you don't know where they're ultimately going to lead you. Then took the other, just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. So first he looks down one of them to where it bends in the undergrowth, and then he takes the other road, which is just as fair, just as interesting, just as beautiful, yeah, just as good. But maybe it had the better claim. Maybe it was a good road to choose, because it was grassy, it had grass growing, and wanted wear. So to wear out, yeah, it hadn't been used a lot, Yeah, it didn't have, it wasn't very worn. So it clearly looked like many other people had gone down the other path, and far fewer people had chosen this path. Though, as for the passing there, had worn them really about the same. So he starts walking down this this less transited path, and as he goes along, he looks at it and he thinks, well, maybe probably both of these roads have been used about the same. So maybe it's similar. So though as for that, the passing there. So while I'm going down it, I came to the conclusion that maybe both roads had been used as much as each other. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no tread had trodden black. So he's saying that overnight the leaves had been falling, and both the one that he's taking, and he imagines that the other is covered in freshly fallen leaves, and nobody stepped on them and turned them black. So, well, clearly no one has been this way recently. Oh, I kept the first for another day. So he's thinking, well, another day I'll go back and I'll try the other road and see where it takes me. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. So here he becomes much more realistic and says, well, normally when we take a decision or we do one thing, this leads to something else, which leads to something else, which leads to something else. Way leads on to way. Yeah, we make a decision to do something and that gives us another decision, and we end up somewhere very far from the original place. And knowing how life is, it's going to be impossible to come back and take the other road. Yeah, or very unlikely. So when it's here, the idea is when we take these life decisions, yes, it would be nice to take both of them, or say, well, another day I'll try the other decision. But normally, when we make a decision like that, it changes our lives, and we never go back to where we were before. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. So hence, from now. So now he's thinking into the far future, and he sighs. And he's going to tell this story about where he was in a wood and he made a decision. So somewhere I'll be sitting with people and telling I made this decision. And with a sigh, maybe he's saying, I should have chosen the other road. But who knows? Because if you don't take the other road, or if you take one road, you can't know what would have happened had you taken the other. So he's imagining himself somewhere a long way in the future, hence from now. And he's telling this story, and he says, 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by. Okay, so there was this situation, and there was this road, or there was this decision, and I took the less commonly made decision. I took the more unusual decision. Yeah, I decided to do the not to do what everyone else does, but to go my own way. And here it ends with a very positive note, and that has made all the difference. Okay, so this is saying that it was a very good thing that I travelled by this road, and taking the road less travelled by can be actually a really good thing. And it's what got him here today, where he is today, or she is. So, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost.